I am not an animal. I am a human being. Want to say cubby cushy cubby gum? A census taker once came to interview me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. And he said there's two types of people. There's those whose parents support their vocation and they get early breaks. And there's those whose parents reject their vocation and they have to fight really, really hard.
Good afternoon and welcome to CUcast, the IFDP edition. Our guest today has spent over 3 decades in theatre, television and film as an actor, a director, a screenwriter, and now he's finally pitching through as an academic. With a PhD from the University of Melbourne that put theatre through Chekhov and film through Cassavetes into direct conversation with its audiences. This episode is not a career retrospective. Rather, it's a bigger conversation about cinema itself with our guest today. Welcome, Professor Dixon. How do you do? I hope you're doing good. And how's your experience in Chandigarh University been like?
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for inviting me onto this podcast. You're a gentleman. The entire team here is magnificent. Chandigarh has been great. And Chandigarh has the kind of rigor in learning that I expect from every university I get to, and I don't always see it. And they're walking the talk here.
That's great. It's a pleasure having you over. And let's talk about IFDP to begin things off with. Yeah, that really got you over here. I think it might be a strange stance for you to be here because there's so many scientifically, academically inclined people out here who've come in for the IFDP. And I think you're probably the sole torchbearer of people on the creative side of things. So how do you think you're fitting into all of this?
On this tour, I have had so many wonderful conversations with people from different countries. Of course, they're all lecturers, right? So you sit down at lunch with them and you will get a lecture, right? And to be honest with you, that's great because that's how we learn, right? A gentleman yesterday told me all about the history of South Africa, which I didn't know. Then I sat next to someone from Brazil the next day and he told me all about the history of Brazil. And you get a very honest reaction from people. It's an assessment of their culture, not just a narrative about our country would like to be represented this way. It's academia, and that is a rigorous kind of environment. And I got to thank Chandigarh for putting that together. You never know what you're going to get, but these people have been great.
Well, I'm glad that Chandigarh University has put together a good entourage of people that have not just kept you entertained, but have also given a part of their culture and a part of their history. They've brought it out in a friendly and a very nice gesture towards you. That's really nice to hear.
And look, I'd love them to be my entourage, but actually they're my colleagues.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, red carpet, I'm into it. My wife said to me that if I stopped walking down the red carpet, she would divorce me.
Ooh, okay. So talking about red carpets, you've spent your life on both sides of the camera and of the stage as well. So if you had to describe what cinema means to you in, let's say, 100 words or lesser, how do you think you could put it through?
Cinema is the ultimate immersive experience, which is the greatest approximation of our dreams, of our visual and oral representations of the world, which can suck us into a story and change the mind of even the hardest heart. It is pure joy unraveling in a time art.
Wow, I'm at a loss of words hearing that, really. Yeah, that's an incredible definition
You
of
probably
what
noticed I was at a loss for the words at the end of that definition. But
Oh
I thought,
yeah,
no,
but
that's it.
95% of it was all through, incredible. So was there a specific film or a moment in your life where you decided that this is it, this is how I'm gonna spend the rest of my life dedicated towards film and filmmaking?
I'm 8 years old. My uncle was a film buff. He was a home movie maker, right? He had a Super 8 camera back then. And we used to have slide evenings, and he would show these films he would make every time he went overseas, and we were just stuck in South Australia, you know. So this was the very definition of exoticism. I wanted to do that. So I said to my dad, I've written a script. It was a horror film, and I cast my entire family in this horror film, and I knew I could realize it on Super 8. And I said to Dad, can I borrow Uncle Alan's camera? And I want to make a film. Now, he took me aside. I'm sure you can all relate to this. He took me aside and he gave me a lecture on, son, films cost millions of dollars. You will never make a career in it, so I'm not going to let you have that camera.
Oh, that's awful.
It may be awful, but you know James Hillman, who wrote The Soul's Code, and he said there's two types of people. There's those whose parents support their vocation and they get early breaks and they thrive. And there's those whose parents reject their vocation and they have to fight really, really hard. Now, you and I both know, because we're filmmakers, that fighting really hard is what we will do for the rest of our lives. That's filmmaking. So in a sense, my dad did me a huge favor by going, you can't do it. That means I'm going to have to be excellent. So I was bred to be a lawyer. And you should have seen the look on my dad's face when I said, I've enrolled in the arts and I've enrolled in an acting degree. And then later on, 10 years later, I did a directing degree, right? But as you say, this is not biography. I've always had a proclivity for the black and white image, and I've just shot a black and white film that's both color and black and white in Singapore, and I'm pretty excited about that. But it was The Elephant Man. You know it?
Is it
David
1979 or 1981?
1980.
1980.
Well done, you.
Yeah.
1980, The Elephant Man. It's chiaroscuro, black and white. It has a brilliant performance from John Hurt.
John Hurt.
Yep. And of course, the man who became Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins, playing the humane doctor, which was a reason why he was cast in that. So that film was the first time I went to the cinema and my jaw dropped. I'm not Indian. You might have noticed. But
I could barely notice. Yeah. I could barely see
my
it
soul
too.
is Indian, people. I don't come from a culture that encourages crying in young boys. I come from a more British heritage. I'm Australian, but a more British heritage. And I couldn't stop the tears coming out of my eyes at 18. That moment, that one line when he says, I am not an animal. I am a human being. And it's a brilliant performance. That line will stay with me forever. But the film was the lateral genius of David Lynch, whose films I adore.
Talking about your journey all throughout, you're joining us from NTU, which is currently 12th in the world rankings in the QS rankings. Now, rankings usually run on hard metrics like research, citations, and faculty ratios. Where do you think arts actually fits into all of this? And can a strong arts program genuinely move that number up, or does it work more indirectly?
The reality is it's very hard for the arts to support its university, only because the metrics, as you rightly point out, come from science. When we do our PhDs, we are having to use a scientific model in an arts context, and that's near impossible to do. But then the arts also has to always justify itself, even in common knowledge. You know, I say this, I'm sorry I'm segueing, but
No, please go ahead.
You go to a dinner party and people say, oh, what do you do? I'm an engineer. Tell us about engineering, right? Nobody says I'm an expert in your field. But you know this. As soon as you say I'm a filmmaker, people go, oh, I know all about film. So we're constantly, you know this as well, sir.
Oh, this happens a lot.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It does
So
happen a lot.
I think that is a greater context of, I think people are so affected by film, they think they are that film. You know, maybe that's a little schizophrenic, but they think they're that film, and therefore they know more about it than we do.
I'm at a crossroads right now because we're talking about films being poignant and like deeply immersive, But then there's also the advent of artificial intelligence into filmmaking as well. What do you think about films and artificial intelligence?
Well, you've chosen the perfect word to describe that. We're at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads in history. But let me preface this by asking you, is rock and roll dead?
Not at all.
No. And rock and roll's never going to die, right?
It's never going to die.
Okay. Now, when it comes to AI, I got this personal theory. We're going to see a split. There are those purists who are going to say, absolutely, no way will I touch AI. And I really deeply respect that. And that really is built on the tradition of indie filmmaking. In that aspect, I personally am really glad that I studied Cassavetes, because Cassavetes is the father of the American indie film, and something that is about the human spirit that cannot be suppressed. And it's a very large voice. On the other hand, you've got those filmmakers and largely big studio producers who know that actors are painful to work with, directors are arrogant, and they just want the numbers to crunch, and they see it as a business, and they only want it to develop that way. What's the perfect genre for that? It's the superhero film. Okay, so we're going to see, and the entirely AI-driven stars, artificially created scripts, and we're going to see very little human intervention in that. And I think that whilst everyone is going, oh no, we're going to lose cinema. No, we didn't lose rock and roll. We're not going to lose cinema. So I'm on the side of the non-AI. However, we're in an era when we all have to embrace AI. And Chandigarh University knows this really deeply. And there's no film school in the world that will be worth its salt if it doesn't look at what AI can produce.
So Chandigarh University is actually restarting its filmmaking course soon.
Yay.
For a program starting from scratch, building a filmmaking curriculum today. What do you think should be a good base that Chandigarh University should build on, and should AI be an integral part of it as well?
The simple answer is yes. It has to be part of it at every point. Even with the invention of television, they said, oh, cinema's going to die, cinema's going to die. Come on, like rock and roll, there's no way. AI is a technological invention. The question is, are we going to lead the machine, or is the machine going to lead us? If we try and replace our thinking with AI, it's not going to work. But to embrace the technology and what it could do for filmmaking, any filmmaking school that sets up right now, if they're not embracing AI, who's going to go along? We need, however, to take the undergrads through the basics of actual real filmmaking. Until they know what a good script is, how can they ask an AI to augment it? They'll just end up with a bunch of cliches. I think any film school setting up has to embrace AI. We have to ask hard and fast, crucial philosophical questions about where to integrate the AI, and know that a filmmaker is never going to be a filmmaker if it's just about the prompts. And how are they going to give the right prompts if they don't know the practical reality of making films? I could talk about that all night, and we could start to speculate. And that, I think, is the kind of conversation I would love personally to set up with Chandigarh University as they set up this new film school, and say, well, what can we do? What are the specific skills? But guaranteed, we need that, because otherwise, the indie filmmaker strain is going to die. And the AI strain is going to take off, and your filmmakers don't need a film school, do they? They just need to perfect their prompts. That's what it comes down to.
That's about it. No, I think somebody as a pioneer as you are in filmmaking Chandigarh University would definitely be more than welcome and proud even to have you over, and to be a part of not just our film school, but also to inculcate a sense of what good cinema and what good filmmaking practices are in the future generations that will join in the film school.
Well, if Chandigarh asked, I would be honored to be here.
If in the near future, let's say a Chandigarh University student who's part of the filmmaking program,
Yeah.
who has never laid their hands on a camera before,
Yeah.
who's never written a screenplay before, would want to make a 5-minute short film, what are a few pointers, let's say 3 to 5, that
Mhm.
you'd like to inculcate them with on their journey to making their first short film?
Right. This is a rather lateral approach I like to take. And that is this. We know the principle, learn the rules before you break them, right? I say to my students in Nanyang and in all the other 14 film schools I've taught in, rubbish. Rubbish. How do you know that the rules exist for a reason? Go out, do what you do, get it wrong. Get it as wrong as you possibly can. And then you'll go, oh, that's why we have the 180-degree line so that the audience can follow the space. That's why we don't micromanage our actors. Just go out and make a film. And when you say they've never had a camera in their hands before, show me someone in the modern world, apart from those on the other side of the digital divide, that have never held a camera. You guys are born, at your age, you're born with cameras in your hands. In a lot of Asian countries, people are addicted to those phones. They know what their camera can do. And I say embrace that and try. If you think you're making a film, if you think you want to be a filmmaker, make films. Get it wrong. Then you'll know why you're going to film school. And then we can make it even harder for them by setting the challenge and raising the bar slowly. Believe me, if I was an 8-year-old today, I wouldn't be asking for my uncle's camera. And when my dad said no, I'd be making that film anyway.
That's the spirit. That's the filmmaking spirit. That's the drive that we filmmakers
Absolutely.
do have.
By the way, my dad grew to be very, very proud of me, and he loved my films. And he's in heaven now, bless him.
There's no better feeling than that, to have
true.
a proud parent smile down over you. That's great. That's great. We're done with the long-standing questions. Now we're going to move on to the rapid-fire rounds.
Right.
And mind you, you should not take more than 3 seconds to answer these.
You got it.
All right. So, one film everyone should watch on the big screen at least once.
Apocalypse Now.
Silence or background score? What says more in a scene?
Silence.
Your favorite Marvel film?
I hate Marvel films, but I have to say I really loved Wonder Woman.
Who is gonna be the perpetual James Bond for you?
Oh, it will definitely be Daniel Craig.
Lovely answer. A film that changed how you see the world?
Nicholas Roeg and Donald Cammell's Performance, 1968.
Wow, that's one heck of a film. What's your favorite Indian film?
I want to say Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, but it's actually a film I saw recently called Haq.
One thing you never leave a cinema hall without?
My dignity.
If you could resurrect one dead film genre, which one would it be?
Oh, we got to have spaghetti westerns. There's not enough of them. Sergio Leone.
Sergio Leone, throughout again. So, an AI-generated film or a flawed human-made one?
Flawed human.
You said it before I could finish the question. One line from a film that lives in your head rent-free.
A census taker once came to interview me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
That cold yet calculated precision
It's
that you had in
sheer
delivering
brilliance.
it. I have chills, really speaking.
Sheer brilliance.
That brings us to the end, to a lovely conversation with you. I'm so sorry we have to cut it short right now.
No worries.
But it's been a lovely, insightful talk that we've had. It's been a great evening. We would love to have you here again. That's Professor Dixon right there, everybody. We're coming to an end to it. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you so much, sir.
Bye. To say, come on in, fellas, it's time to eat, right? So it's going, ah. We had it on for about an hour. and it's like, oh, this is doing my head in. She said, you're an actor and a filmmaker, so you're a control freak and you're insecure. Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much. You are beautifully responsive, I have to say. You know, and all of you. This guy is gold. There was one moment I referred to you and you went, huh?
Thanks to Pi, this is the first time I'm actually doing this.
You got a natural? Really? First time?
That's my first time as a podcast host.
He's a
yes.
natural. Yeah.